Hello, welcome. It's Independent Creator podcast for you guys and everybody else, right? It's been a while, hasn't it? Not too long, really. Just enough to make the heart grow fonder and all sorts of stuff like that. I don't know why I was going with that, but I'm going with it. But yeah, like what the title says, it's out with the old, in with the new. And yeah, it's pretty much going to make some changes to the show going forward. Each episode is going to be a little bit different. Not too much different, but just enough where I'm not doing as much, but also expanding. I know, it's like, it's different, but the same, but different. I know, it's a little confusing when you actually think about it and actually think about it really hard. But how's everybody going? How's it going? How's everybody doing? Wow, I know it's been a while since I've talked to you guys, and already I cannot speak correctly. But there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on lately, and one of the things I would like to point out is that the show is not stopping. Yes, I know it's been a couple weeks, and with no new episodes out, that is completely on me. And I was trying to think about different ways of how to go about it and decide, you know what, let's go ahead and do it this way. That what I'm going to be talking about is going to be the way going forward. And I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting. More interaction doing if where I would normally this part of the show of stream would be just like getting things together, getting started, and just hanging out for whatever. But it's going to be a little bit different where as soon as the stream starts you get the 5-minute countdown, and it's not going to be the normal 10 to 15 minute housekeeping pre-show stuff, whereas it's going to go right into the episode, and which means that the episode is actually going to start within 5 minutes of the stream starting, and then talk about whatever we're going to be talking about during that particular episode. Excuse me. And before I would have, say, if anyone was bringing in questions in the chat or anything like that, normally I would look at that at the end or after the episode is recorded, so to speak, in air quotes. But I decided, you know what, there's a lot of stuff that people like to say or bring to the table, and why keep it out of the episode? What I'm thinking is like, it makes it a little bit shorter, but there was one, let's say a couple times where it was like hour long or hour plus, and episode was really good. It had a good flow and everything. So I decided, you know what, let's not go ahead and keep the audience out. Let's actually bring them into the actual episode itself via their chat messages, or if they have good questions or good takes of what we're talking about, go ahead, we'll talk about that. So decided that's another change, going to be mixing it up a little bit, and also there's not going to be any kind of after show or post show wind down with Q&A or anything like that, because I'm integrating it into the actual show itself. So these typical episodes will go for about an hour. If it's a little bit less, if it's a little bit over, that's fine. That's okay. The only thing I'm going to be cutting out of this on the actual show itself on YouTube is the 5-minute countdown. That pre-show kind of get things set up, ready to go, send out any posts over on Mastodon or over on Blue Sky, Threads, wherever, and get that all taken care of within the first 10-15 minutes, and then that includes the 5-minute countdown. So I usually like to try to get this stuff taken care of beforehand and get it done, so I'm not really doing much for those 5 minutes. They're probably 3 minutes while I was just sitting here just waiting for the countdown to end. But yeah, So that's pretty much the gist of the actual flow of the show. Is that's what's going to be changing instead of 15 minutes before and 15-20 minutes after, with the recording struck right in between. Because I can go ahead and just post this show, this live stream out as an episode, and it makes my life a lot easier for as editing it. And yeah, it's just it gets the episode out there faster. So one thing I'm going to do is move release dates. Instead of after a week of live stream, then a week, then post out the episode, it's going to be live stream, and then on Wednesday, that's when the episode actually gets posted out to for everybody. For the audio version is posted out there. YouTube it'll get that as soon as soon as it loads up. I thought I turned that off. Reactions off. So I know I got the new Mac OS Sonoma, but it has the reaction things that happen on your camera. But the problem is that it's like per app switching. So if you turn it off in one app or in the main feed, you still have to turn them off in other apps that use your camera, which is a pain in the butt, because you think, oh, turn it off, all this off at once. It should be globally. Nope, it's not. It goes through per app basis, all those permissions. So if you're watching the video portion, I guess I had did a thumbs up, just where my hand placements are, and Mac was like, oh, okay, that is requiring a bubble with a thumbs up coming out from your head. No, it is. No, it doesn't. I mean, they're pretty cool, but a lot with the Apple stuff is it's cool for let's say a good month, and then no one really uses them, or they just keep them off. They might turn them on within like a couple months later. So, oh, again, those things that you were talking about, yeah, that was a fun thing. Turn them on for a week and then turn them off again, and then forget about. Really, how many people do you know use? Let's just say, how many people that you know have an iPhone, a later model from like iPhone 10 to present? How many people do you know use them emojis? Not many, do they? Nope. Not many people use those emojis or anything like that. It was a cool little fun niche kind of thing at the beginning, but it's not anymore, right? So yeah, it's pretty much that is like I said, with the general structure of the show going forward. Another big change I want to do is, instead of going weekly, we're going to go every 2 weeks. Starting next, so it's pretty much tonight is going to be the first time coming back with this new change. So in 2 weeks, there's going to be another show or another episode. So that's just going to be the cadence going forward into the rest of this year and going into 2024. My thinking is because 52 weeks. That's a lot of weeks. And I know I haven't, this is number 11 episode. So I haven't really been keeping up with that. So I was kind of like, instead of going every week, trying to figure something out for each week, because not many things change in the alternative platform space universe wise. A lot of stuff is more scaled out a little bit more than your YouTube or your Twitch or anything like that kind of news cycle. But there is still stuff out there that happens, but it's not as much. So I was kind of like, well, I don't want to go through all my episode ideas within 2 or 3 months and then be like, oh crap, what do I got to do, right? So that was my thinking, is let's go ahead and space them out. Let's just go ahead and go do a bi-weekly show. Nothing Your quality is still going to be the same. Scuff me doing whatever I do here. No, it's not scuff. This is high production value you're getting. But my thinking was, let's go ahead and do every other week, which gives me the chance of collecting stories or seeing the new stuff that happens for, alternative platforms like Overcast or integrating with Mastodon, Blue Sky, Gilded. And we'll see, even talk about YouTube, Twitch, and those likes of those, the main platforms, but not as much because there's other people who do a much better job at that. And I'm more interested in doing the alternative platform stuff. So that was my thinking in going forward after tonight. So tonight, episode 11. So episode 12 is going to be 2 weeks, and the episodes are going to be released the day after the live stream, or the live recording, I should say. It just makes things a little bit easier. I don't have to do as much. I know it sounds like I'm being lazy, right? I don't want to do so much. Well, no, because like I said, I'm scaling down, but also scaling out my content here. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about next, is that I am going to be focusing on doing videos. So let's say how I normally do in the past, a couple episodes where I would have 3 stories and I would break those 3 stories out into their own videos, which is great because just 2 days ago, I put in a, local versus remote chatbot segment I did in episode 9. And I did those 3 stories are their own 3 different episodes. Going forward, what I'm going to be doing is doing a scaling not scaling down, but looking more into one particular video type. Let's, for example, setting up a support bot in Gilded, or like I did with Overcast setup. But also going to be incorporating other platforms like Envision Community forums software. So I wanted to actually bring that into the mix as well to talk about forum software. And just big news is SMF is going to be starting development of the 3.0 version, which, if for anyone who has been interested or has been into the forum building aspect of things, it is like a long time coming. It's been a while since SMF has been on whatever version 2 point whatever. And my thinking is that I can bring some of my experience messing with these programs like Envision Community. I've been part of building a forums and throughout Envision 3 or later parts of 3, most of 4.0s, and then going forward into version 5. Same thing with XenForo. I pretty much was right there with them when they first started XenForo. Started my forums on it. So it's kind of like, I like to talk about, getting your forum set up, what to look for in forum software, what is capable of each software suite that might be better to use brand A than brand B. So it's kind of like bringing more of a alternative platforms and more platform centric talk and discussion into the actual independent creator podcast. And that's not just the podcast, but also into the Indie Creator Hub ecosphere. So that's what my thinking is going forward, is setting up those videos and not having them part of the independent creator podcast, so to speak. I'll still talk about that, but not as a in-depth kind of a walkthrough kind of thing. I will reserve that for more of a dedicated video that will be showing up on the Indie Creator Hub YouTube channel, and also pushing everything into the PeerTube side of things as well. So if you don't know, I have in the links down below. If you're watching this on YouTube, there is a link to our PeerTube, not our PeerTube instance, but luckily I was been graciously enough added into the Tilvids universe. Now, if you don't know what Tilvids is, it's a group or collection of a lot of other content creators that do edutainment type of content, similar to how I do, where I bring in some tutorial, I do in a edutainment type of way. It's not kind of like a how to build a cabinet, this is what you got to do kind of thing. It's just kind of bring a little bit more extra flair and more kind of community interaction as well. So that's just my take on how things are with like the edutainment, which is a great lineup. How we within Indie Creator Hub had moved into bringing, or was allowed to come into, or I should say invited into, there's the words, invited into Tilvid's instance to have our videos on their instance, PeerTube. Because I did set up, or had set up a PeerTube instance, but it's kind of like, at the time I did it for a live stream to walk through, and it was like 2 hours of going through it. There is a easier way. I still have to figure out or play with it, see if it is easier, if it's faster. But there is a easier, faster way of doing an install of PeerTube through a Docker container. So that's just one of the things I'm going to have to check out. And yes, I'll even do a video on it as well. So I have other things. There is, like I said, our channel that is within the Tilvids ecosystem. Also, we have our forums that are continuing to grow. This indie creator, it started up, what was it, 2 months ago, I want to say. And this has been having a great time with it. And I'm currently trying to figure out if I should turn it into a, move it from thisIndieCreator.com and go from that, put it into the Indie Creator Hub as a forum, like underneath the Indie Creator Hub branding. So it's one of the things I'm still trying to go over, and because it kind of makes sense, but it's also, I have it set up where it incorporates other things from like gaming, independent gaming, or indie games, I should say, indie game development, indie game themselves. So I think that's why I'm trying to juxtapose between keeping it where it is, which I'm very leaning towards, or moving it to live underneath the Indie Creator Hub domain as a like indiecreatorhub.com/forums, or forums at forums.indiecreatorhub.com. So this is one of the things I'm still kind of trying to mull over in my head and figure out what's the best course of action going forward would be, Now, one other thing that I'm looking at is incorporating more of an interview type of bringing people that are part of the independent space, the alternative platform space, and just talking to them, their experiences and whatever projects that they might be doing or working on or a part of. So I kind of want to bring that part of the podcast type of style. It's not going to be every episode. It's not going to be like on tonight's episode where we're talking to blah. It's just going to be like a special event, because most of the time what I'm thinking is that the people that are part of these alternative platforms, they're in many different time zones. So it'd be kind of hard to, collaborate. Say, would you be able to do an interview for like block off a good hour and a half to talk on a 9-10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, while they are like in Europe, and there's probably 3 o'clock in the morning over there. So it's kind of, like the logistics of it is going to be kind of difficult. But I do have a way around that, is to work on their schedule, do pre-recorded interviews, and then just have them played during the Independent Creator Podcast episode as a video. That's hey, welcome to an Independent Creator Podcast number 65. Tonight we're talking with so-and-so. Here's the interview. And then I'll cut right into the interview for the next 45 minutes to an hour, or however long it would be. So that's just my thinking going forward. Is we've already done, this is episode number 11. I know some big changes going on, right? But going forward, I wanted to make these changes now, just because it's kind of like a good part, or a good period of time in a podcast life is the early days. Is you do all these kind of weird experiments, trying to figure out and settle in what's going on. Because I'm sure that the big podcasts that are out there right now, I'm sure that what you're seeing current episodes now is completely different from the earlier episodes, because that's just the nature of things. Everything evolves, nothing is pretty much we got to do it this way, and we do it for this set amount of episodes, and we don't deviate that whatsoever. But that's not my show. My show is pretty much, it goes all over the place. It's kind of like a off the rails, but we go from one set of rails to another, and it's just the nature of the independent creator, because that's just what I am, or how I do. And I'm sure a lot of people like you that watch this are very similar, that kind of like, oh, let's do an experiment. How does this work? How does this look if I do my project this way? So that's just my take on trying to also move the evolving slider. I don't know. I was trying to think of a word there. The evolution of Independent Creator Podcast going forward for the next 10 episodes or the next 20 episodes. Because, hey, I enjoy doing this. And it's one of those things where that if something that you're doing and you don't have enjoyment from, it's kind of, people see it. You just, like phoning it in. As long as you have fun doing whatever you're doing, streaming or anything like that, it's just have fun with it. It's have the mindset as like, yes, I want to go from point A to point C, is where I go from. Point A is getting things set up, playing around with what works, what doesn't work, and then go from B to C as a business to, go from there, go for A, B, and C. And right now we're still on A. We're still the step A. We're still trying to figure out what to do, what we're doing, what works, what doesn't work, and it's just having fun with it, really. So that's just, the future plans going forward is going from a weekly show to a every other week, or bi-weekly, I should say. It's no longer going to be this structure. It's 3 stories and that's it. We're also going to be doing videos that are more structured or more niche or topic focused, as like I used to do. But that does not mean that we're going to not talk about different topics and all sorts of stuff within the episode itself. So this episode is just, getting into what we're going to be doing going forward. And I know this chair is so squeaky, and it also has bad sunburn. It's starting to peel. So I got to do something with that too. But yeah, see what I mean by going off the rails. But that's just me. This is how I do. But really, it's kind of like figuring out what you want to do as well. I mean, like I said before, it's just an evolution. You're going to work and you got to figure out how to make your job better, faster, and you don't have to work as hard or as much, I should say, where, you're still constantly trying to also do the same thing for your position on your life as well. So it's just, the evolution of the Independent Creative Podcast is very dynamic. It's very fluid. And there's really no wrong way or right way to go about it. So it's kind of a great thing to do, where I like to talk about all this sorts of stuff or alternative platforms. Like I have today, I got things set up where even with the thumbnail, I was having trying to decide, should I continue with how it is now with the purple fence post that is the background, and how the font and how it's all laid out. So I decided, let's just break it down. Let's go very minimal. Let's just go very minimal on the styling, because I'm not really, I don't know why I keep saying we, but it's just a royal we. I'm not really of the type of, like, I have to have a highly stylized set of graphics going through and getting it all set up. I like the plain, simple, very minimal. That's just how I like to do it. And I'm thinking I'll probably still play around with it, like the sizing, the spacing, but how it is on the thumbnail is how I like to go forward with it. And I will be changing the cover art that is in the podcast art right now to a this particular design style. It's probably not going. It's going to go out tomorrow, so I gotta upload that image to Captivate tonight after this episode, after I'm done here, so I make sure it's all done, ready to go. But yeah, to streamline my workflow is a lot better for me, because I can go through this editing real quick, because like I said, all I gotta do is cut off the first 5 minutes and then take this entire live stream or episode, and it's this episode, and go through. It's more of it's a free flowing, free form kind of episode, and it might work out, it might not, but I like to give it a chance over the next so many episodes, like for the next 10 to 15 episodes. Let's see how it works. Let's see how we go, because it's going to go into 2024. Depending on how things are scheduled out, I still have to figure out the scheduling going into the holiday season, because this time of year, schedules get kind of weird. So I might be moving stuff around, especially around Thanksgiving or Christmas time, those particular weeks, if a scheduled show ends up in that particular week. But that's just one of the things I'm going to have to figure out and see what we can do. Because, hey, I don't know if we got family coming over. Going to be staying for the next week or two during the holidays. I mean, it's just something I don't know yet. So I would have to work a schedule around and take it from there, right? But that's just the life of a content creator. And it's kind of like, yes, a consistent schedule is great and is actually what it should be striving forward. But you also do have to make concessions, and you have to be very flexible in how your consistent schedule works. So during the holidays is a great test of how this works. And it's kind of like, yeah, let's see how it goes and play it by ear, right? But I just wanted to do this episode to, get the basis of what you are going to expect from Independent Creator Podcast going forward after tonight. And hopefully you continue joining me tonight, or joining me on listening on to these shows. And hopefully I'll get some more people or pass the show around to other people. Because I have to say, because I'm very biased in this, is that we're very informative in how we look at alternative platforms like Overcast or Matrix or Gilded or PeerTube or any sets of other things that we envision community or XenForo, because like I said, I'm going to be incorporating a lot of the forum software into the mix again, or not again, but now. So I do hope you guys enjoy me. Ooh, sounded spicy. But hopefully you guys join me, and as we continue our search through different alternative platforms, or also just learning more about these platforms that are out there now and what they can do for us. That, since a lot of places like YouTube are cracking down on ad blockers, so it's kind of like, well, I'm not going to stop putting my videos on YouTube, but I'm going to give more of my focus and getting more of my directive focus of bringing people into my channel over on Tilvids. Or, hey, come to my forum from my website. Check out the videos or the content, blog posts, articles, whatever. You name it, check it out on my site. Instead of, I'll still add link out from it, because that's what I said prior, like a couple months ago, is owning your content. I'm practicing what I preach, is owning my content, bringing myself to say, I have to post this onto my website, and from there I can spread or share the link out to other places. Like, I've already deleted my X Twitter account, so I've pretty much I used to use X Twitter as just like a information gathering type of software to, hey, what's going on in these the large companies on their accounts. But it got to the point where it's just like, I'm just tired of having an account that is sitting on this particular platform and contributing to the numbers that people can say. X Twitter has all these millions of accounts. It's great. Well, it's one less account now, and there's been so many other people that are just leaving the platform and saying pretty much they had enough. It's no more say, okay, well, we'll just have an account there just because keep the name. Like, no, I've just given up on X Twitter completely. It is done. So you can find me over on Mastodon and Blue Sky and over on Threads. I'm going to be posting mostly on Mastodon and Blue Sky. The Threads account, I will do just like the fun little things here and there, but it's kind of taken over what Twitter used to be as like it's where the brands are pretty much. And Blue Sky is more of getting together with a community. Same thing with the Mastodon side of things. So that's my 3 accounts I'm going to be focusing on, is Mastodon, Blue Sky, and Threads. So if you'd like to follow me there, or hey, if you even want a invite to Blue Sky, I do have 5 or 6 now. They're constantly building up because it's just, a lot of people are already getting into it via other methods. So it's just these invite codes are there just to have. Be nice to have, right? Instead of looking at a 0 count. So as far as anything else social wise, almost forgot. If you're watching, do be sure to sign up on our thisindie.com. That's our forums. Because you know why? Because you should, right? No, it's a space that is set up for a if you're watching on the video side of things, this is our front page. It's set up for independent creators looking to share information, learn from other creators that come in and then post up. Also the indie game section as well. We have a space for developers, and it's just, a general area. But our main focus is content creators and indie game developers and indie games. So do be sure to join up thisindie.com. That's where our community is moving. It is pretty much, that's where it is. I do have a Discord, but it's kind of, I don't want it to be, end all be all. Everybody has to join the Discord. No, because Discord, it's a black hole for SEO. Whatever you put into your Discord server, it does not go out anywhere else. And that's what I don't want. So I do hope to see you there on thisindie.com. And if also this audio portion of this podcast will be up tomorrow morning. It'll be posted up Wednesdays, every Wednesdays going forward till the end of time, or I change it again. But going forward, it's going to be every Wednesday, every other week. You can find it over on Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, any RSS feed, wherever you get your podcast from, you'll be able to find it. And hope to see you there. But thank you for coming out tonight, and I do hope that you join us next time. 2 weeks is our next scheduled episode, and do be sure to follow all the things so you can keep yourself updated. So I'll give updates. What's the next episode is going to be? Time Tuesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So with that, I'd like to say thank you for coming out, and have a good night, and I'll see you next episode.